Hello, I want to say thank you for taking the time to learn about water conservation, and I personally think it's a very important thing for us to do. All of the tips that I have to offer today are very simple, so we need to learn about water conservation made easy because we have to have water. My name is Bonnie Irvin. I am the Project WEC Coordinator for Rutherford County. I work under the umbrella of several stormwater managers. They are from Laverne, Smyrna, Murfreesboro, MTSU, and Rutherford County. And the emphasis of my job is stormwater education to the public and to schools. And in addition, we talk about water conservation and preservation. My email address, in case you want to contact me, is B-E-R-V as in Victor, I-N, at Rutherford, and spell it out, county, tn.gov. So that is birvin at Rutherford County, tn.gov. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start with a demonstration. It's a very visual reminder of how precious water truly is. It's called A Drop in the Bucket, and it is from Project WEC. Okay, so we're going to pretend this is all the water in the world. Obviously it isn't, but it's a model. That's what we tell the students. It's a model of the water in the world. And so this water is two main types. We think of salt water and we think of fresh water. So since most of the water in the world is salty water, which is in the oceans, the seas, inland salty lakes, it's 97% of all the water in the world. I'm going to pour off the water that isn't salty. So here we go. Okay. So this is salt water. Okay. And this represents all of the fresh water in the world. Now, where is all the fresh water in the world? We have it in three main states of matter. This is, our school children will remember this. So this is solid, liquid, and gas. And I'm not going to account for the gas, which is in the clouds and water vapor. So we're just going to talk about the frozen and the liquid water. So frozen water, which is this, can be found in glaciers, in snow peaks, and in ice fields. And they're shrinking. We just had an ice pack fall into the ocean not too long ago. So I'm going to pour off the amount of non-frozen fresh water because we actually have quite a bit of water that is frozen around the world. Sorry, I'm not very good at chemistry. Okay, so this is the fresh frozen water around the world. This is the fresh non-frozen water in the world, and it is 0.6% of all the water in the world. Now, where do we find this water? Well, you can find it underground, the groundwater, which is in the spaces between the soil. It's in a zone of saturation. You could drill a well and pull water out of it. There's also water found in between little particles of soil, but we can't access that. Plants can, but we can't. So I'm going to pour off the amount of water that is not stored underground. Okay, that would be this amount, which is 0.15% of all the water in the world. And we mainly find this in the surface water, okay? So that would be lakes, rivers, streams, and ponds. Okay, but is all, and this is actually where most people get their drinking water is from the surface. But is all of this water clean? No, it's not. And some of it is even brackish and found between between the interface between the salty water and the fresh water, like we find in the bays. We don't drink that either. So the amount of water that what we call potable or drinkable all over the world for all of the people, for all of the animals we raise, and all of the animals we have as pets, and all the animals that live in the world, all of our crops that we grow, they need clean water. So this is all the water for all the people, the animals, and the plants in the world. Let's see. 1 drop out of all the water in the world. This is the amount, 1 drop, relatively speaking, that is available for drinking and for use from people and animals and plants. All right. So that little amount of water, which is 0.003% of all the water in the world, is what we have to work with. And we tend to think in terms of using water, what we can see and what we can feel. That's not the only way that water is used. It is used indirectly as well. And that's probably where a lot of the water that we consume goes. So personal or direct usage, you drink it, you use it for bathing, you use it for cleaning, you use it for recreation like swimming, you use it for gardening and outside on your lawn or with your flowers. I use a lot water inside on my plants as well. But indirectly, water we consume is used in agriculture, manufacturing, transportation. Why is water used in transportation? It takes water in the cycle of things to make gasoline as well. We use water to make energy. Wildlife uses it. Recreation use in those lakes and rivers where we canoe and kayak and boat. Water is used in mining. It's used in logging. I want you to understand that everything we consume uses water in some way. And this is my example that I use that reminds me each and every day. My 1 cup of brewed coffee that I drink every morning has taken an estimated 37 gallons to produce. You have to grow it, you have to process it, you have to package it, transport it, I purchase it, and then I brew it at home. All of that water is encompassed in my 1 cup of water, my 1 cup of coffee that I drink every day. So something that most people don't realize is the more water you use, the more energy you use, and the more energy you use, the more water you've used. So in this diagram, it shows that energy is being used to produce water. Energy goes to houses. Energy is being used to clean the water. And water is being used in mining, is being used to make electricity, is being pumped to use for people and our animals. And water is cleaned and then returned back to the river. It is a cycle. And the more energy you use, the more water you've used, probably in the background. Now, we're going to walk around the house and we're going to talk about tips that you can use, and we'll begin in the kitchen. That's the home of our heart, the heart of our home. We spend a lot of time in the kitchen and around the dining room table. So I want you to remember in the back of your mind that the water pressure of your kitchen faucet is about 2.2 gallons per minute. And that's when you've got it pushed on really high. So the more water that you use and goes down the drain is more water that you have consumed. So keep in the back of your mind, the least amount of water you use goes down the drain, the better. So if you are in the lucky position or unlucky position of needing to purchase new appliances, look for the energy efficient ones. They consume less energy, therefore less water. And when you're cooking, you want to cook efficiently, meaning if you need to boil some water for pasta instead of 5 gallons of water, if you possibly can, use 1 gallon and then save that water. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Be aware of packaging when you purchase your food. Remember, in the background, it took water to make that packaging. It also takes fossil fuels in the instance of plastics. So that's energy. So they're connected. Remember that. When you're washing your dishes, if you have a brand new dishwasher, it probably uses very little water. We still like to wash our dishes by hand. So I use the way our daughter taught us, which is the way she learned while she was in the Peace Corps. So I put soap on the dish rag and squish it with water. And then I wash all of the dishes. I don't use any other water than that. I wash all of the dishes, put them aside, and then I rinse all of the dishes all together. So in all, I may use a gallon. Not very much. I don't rinse them ahead of time. Which brings up the point, the newest dishwashers don't want you to wipe down your plates. They actually use the fluid that is on the plates to help be more effective in washing. And let me correct that. They want you to wipe the plates off. You don't have to rinse them off. Okay? Refrigerator. Keep the door closed when you're not pulling things out or putting things in. If you want cold water, instead of letting the water run down the faucet, down the drain, keep a pitcher of water inside the refrigerator. And the next point, collect all possible water for plants. This is where your pasta water could be used for outside. This is where if you really feel the need to rinse and wash in a large amount of water, instead of washing in the sink plugged up, wash in a pan where you can take that water, even with the soap. It's okay for outside. The soap actually helps it sink into the ground. And I would vary spots where you put it though. And the last one, never waste food, because what's behind each and every piece of food that is on your plate? Water. Water has been used to produce it. So if you're able to compost, good one, because it takes water to run things down the garbage disposal. Now let's move to the bathroom. Again, be aware of running water. So check for toilet leaks. This is where a lot of houses actually lose a lot of water every day. You can lose up to 200 gallons per day. If you can, purchase a new high efficiency toilet because they use less than 1 6/10 gallons per flush. The old ones use maybe up to 5, 6 gallons per flush. In California, we lived there for almost 20 years. We went through several droughts and we learned a lot about living there and water usage. And in California, there's actually a saying of, if it's brown, flush it down. If it's yellow, let it mellow. So a lot of times the urine is caught in the toilet and you don't flush it, except maybe every 3rd or 4th use. It's an icky factor, but it's one we had to live with while we were in California. And we found that even in restaurants, they had that posted. So that's something we've just learned to live with, and you have to scrub the toilet more often. A low flow shower head, if you can purchase that, do. It's going to save you money. And focus on taking short, cooler showers. And why do I say cooler? Remember, energy and water are connected. Now, something else that we learned while we were in California, you know, when you turn on the faucet in the bathroom and you want a warm shower where there's a lot of water that runs through that faucet before it gets hot, catch it. So I actually have a huge bucket and I take it over to the tub and I turn on the hot water and I catch all of that water until the water is hot. And it's almost a gallon each and every time. And I turn it off and then I hop in the shower and I have warm water. I use that water on my indoor plants all over the house. My aunt, who still lives in California, she actually has a bucket inside the shower to catch water. It doesn't catch nearly as much as Bree's shower, but it does catch some. Towels. Some people have it in their lifestyle where they only use a towel once. I would suggest using it several times before you wash it. Remember, running water, water down the drain is water that we don't get back until it rains again. And if at all possible, use LED lighting all over your house, especially in the bathroom. The laundry room. Okay, washing those clothes. And again, if you can have the ability to purchase the energy efficient appliances, that works great. And the montage and the normal way of thinking is use full loads only and use cool or cold water, the least amount of detergent you can, because you don't want detergent to build up in your clothes. If you're lucky enough to have a washing machine that adjusts to the amount of clothes, that's even better. It used to be more important with this because energy generation was matched to energy usage. So if you dry your clothes in the evening, that tends to lessen the amount of heat that escapes into your house. Or if you have a clothesline out back or clothes rack inside your house, that saves money too. Wear your clothes more than once before washing. This is a trick a lot of college students already know. It is a trick that the Peace Corps volunteers certainly have come to learn to use. They use the smell test. So after you've worn your clothes once, hang them out and let them air, and then put them back away and use it again another day. If you have clothing that you don't want, either recycle it, repurpose, or give it away. That it took water to make that clothing. In fact, it's a huge usage of water around the world. So anything we use or buy uses water. And last of all, when you're in the grocery store, choose environmentally friendly laundry products. That includes the packaging and the ingredients. Water conservation outside. Ooh, number one, wash your car on the grass or use a car wash that reclaims its water. Why on the grass? The water sinks into the grass. Again, that little bit of soap won't hurt your grass. Direct your downspouts onto the lawn or catch in the rain barrel, as opposed to letting it run down the driveway into the storm drains. Reclaim as much water as you can, and only water when needed. I know that automatic sprinklers set up to you are usually set up so many minutes every day. Well, if it's programmable, you can reprogram so that you only do maybe 3 days a week and for a longer amount of time. That forces the water to run down into the grass, and the roots will actually grow deeper, so they won't be as affected by droughts. If you can do so, drip irrigation is best, and water it in the evening and water every other day or every third day. Use water that is captured from inside the house. This is from your cooking water, from your dishwater, from the water that's in your shower. Any way that you can save that water and reuse it instead of letting it go down the drain. And the next point, consider changing your lawn and landscaping to Tennessee native plantings. They're really best suited for the climate and our weather. And then if you can't, adjust your watering. But watering with a spray, with the water hose, is probably the least efficient way to water your yard. Water deep, let it soak into the ground, and you don't have to water as often. Swimming pool conservation measures, we don't have a pool, so I'm not for sure what else is recommended. I know that in California, there are covers that you can put over your pool every night to help with the evaporation at night, or when you're not using it, letting the water run down that slide 24 hours a day totally increases the amount of evaporation, which means you have to replenish the water, which means you spend more. In general, be aware of your electrical usage. If you have lights on in the house when you're not in that room, you're using electricity, you're using water, and you're also using you're using money. So purchase LED lights when you replace old light bulbs. Yes, they cost more, but they last so much longer. Be aware of what is now called phantom energy use. This is on your chargers for your phone and computers. If you keep them plugged into the wall, they're still drawing electricity. All of the clocks you have on, all of the radios you have, and your television, it's still using energy when you're not using it. I had one teacher, this is anecdotal, she told me that one summer, she and her family decided to unplug everything that they were using at the time. She said they saved hundreds of dollars. Something to think about, something to try. Do your own experiment. When you're setting the temperature on your air conditioner, they recommend that the most efficient setting right now is for cooling is 78 degrees. For a lot of people, that's really hot. This is where we're able to tolerate in our house. And during the winter, we set the temperature to 68, and that's cold. So we have to wear clothing, but it really saves on energy and money. Check the filters on your air vents, make sure that they are clean, because dirty filters cause the air to not flow efficiently, and that uses more electricity, because the system has to work harder. Even small water leaks can cause damage to your home, so finding them is a good thing. Check your water meter. When no water is running inside the house, is your water meter running? This would be the water meter that's outside. If it's running, you've got a leak somewhere. And toilet leaks, again, can use a whole lot of water. A leaky faucet in your kitchen or in the bathroom, even at 1 drop per second, is 1 4/10 gallons per day, 42 gallons a month times 12. That's a lot of water. And our neighbor experienced this. They had a pinhole leak under their house, and they actually got a notice from the water department. What's going on at your house? They had to get their plumbing fixed. So if you are outside watering, like washing your car or watering, if you leave that hose running, oops, I forgot, it could leak up to 3,000 plus gallons per day. It's a lot of water. So be aware and change your habits. This is where saving money is going to help you. It takes what, 3 weeks on the average to change a habit? Pick one item that you found, oh, I think I could do that, like washing your dishes or like collecting the water before you shower. Practice that and then add another. And just Google water conservation on the internet. You're going to find a lot. If you want more tips that I have found, just email me and let me know. And I certainly thank you for your time. One more. Because it's up to you. The earth and its inhabitants, which includes all of us, thank you. You want to think globally and act